Today, Bitcoin dips to the $67,000 level, giving up some of last week's gains. And we travel to Austin, Texas to dive into crypto's growing partnerships in Formula One. As of noon Eastern, Bitcoin dropped to the $67,000 level after inching towards $70,000 through the weekend. Ether also fell by 1%, trading at $2,678. Meanwhile, Solana actually jumped more than 3% to $165.20. Okay, let's talk about the top stories. The SEC is paving the way for more options trading on spot Bitcoin ETFs. The regulator granted accelerated approval of a rule change to permit the listing and trading of spot Bitcoin ETF options on the New York Stock Exchange and Cboe. Now, this follows approval of options trading for BlackRock's IBIT spot Bitcoin ETF on the NASDAQ in September. In its approval of the NYSE's proposal, the SEC says that options on these ETFs, which began trading back in January, would permit hedging and allow for more liquidity, better price efficiency, and less volatility with respect to the underlying funds. Next, Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong is rolling out public endorsements for pro-crypto candidates in the final days of the 2024 election. The head of the largest U.S. crypto exchange took to X yesterday to endorse Republican Senate candidates Dave McCormick in Pennsylvania and John Deaton in Massachusetts. Armstrong argues that the candidates are better for crypto and accuses Senator Elizabeth Warren, who Deaton is running against, of getting SEC Chair Gary Gensler in his position to, quote, unlawfully kill the crypto industry here. Now, Coinbase, which is battling with the SEC in court, is a major backer of lobbying group Stand With Crypto, which aims to get pro-crypto candidates in office. That group has backed both Republicans and Democrats in congressional races across the country. All right, let's turn to Austin, Texas, and Formula One for our main story. The United States Grand Prix took place in the Lone Star State over the weekend, while thousands of fans attended the race. Many were also watching the action from Kraken's Fan Zone in partnership with Williams Racing. It's part of a growing trend from crypto and fintech firms to back the sport, which is amassing more and more U.S. fans. Now, I traveled to Austin ahead of the race to talk to Kraken and Williams to find out why they think this partnership could be a boon for both of them. Formula One is making deep inroads in the U.S., and I'm here in Austin, Texas, for the United States Grand Prix to find out how crypto is trying to take advantage of the surge in U.S. F1 fans. I met up with Kraken at its Fan Zone, put on in partnership with Williams Racing.
The Fan Zone is actually a free fan experience that Williams puts on in various cities throughout the world during the race season. So I think this is their 6th or 7th one. They've gone from Australia to London to Miami, and we're here in Austin now. So it's a great experience for fans to come and check out F1 without having to pay anything for it.
Kraken, which is used by more than 13 million customers globally, first launched this partnership with Williams Racing back in March of 2023, a time when crypto-friendly banks in the U.S. were going under during the global banking crisis, and as a mix of digital asset firms were winding their way through bankruptcy court as their former executives were in a mix of U.S. criminal courts. Now, back then, the Mercedes F1 team had also just had its FTX sponsorship collapse as that exchange was revealed to be a multi-billion-dollar fraud. But 18 months later, crypto prices are rebounding. A lot of those outstanding cases have been resolved, and crypto's regained a bit of its reputation among banks and businesses. Just ahead of the race in Austin, Kraken announced that it was extending its partnership with Williams. The exchange tells me that it sees real potential to expand its user base by tapping into F1's fan base.
Our key growth audience is here. They're F1 fans. F1 is probably one of the fastest growing sports in the world. You know, there's Drive to Survive. There's a number of different things that have just exploded this sport over the past couple of years.
Now, Kraken isn't alone. OKX sponsors McLaren's F1 team, and some of the biggest names in payments have also jumped in. Visa and Cash App are title sponsors of the Red Bull F1 team, and MoneyGram is the title sponsor of the Haas team. This wider push by fintech firms into Formula One appears to be a play at capturing the attention of the sport's rapidly growing, global, and young fan base. In the case of Kraken, the sport's fastest growing fan demographic isn't their typical crypto user. More and more young women are tuning into these races. F1 fans are estimated to be around 40% female, up from just 8% in 2017. Data also shows that the average F1 fan is 32 years old, which skews younger than those tuning into the NFL and NBA. The racing series comes at a higher price point, which is matched with a more luxurious race experience. So the income band of F1 fans also tends to be higher. Nielsen data finds that in the U.S., the majority of these F1 goers are males between the ages of 25 and 44, and apparently more likely to have an annual household income of $75K or more. Kraken is looking to capture those eyes and set itself apart from the other sponsors across crypto and tech. And it's turning to NFTs in part to do that. Last year, the company held a competition letting artists compete to place their NFT on the rear wing of the Formula One car, and they're doing it again this year. Now the question is what this also means for Williams. The 10 teams in the league get a share of revenue that comes from media deals and sponsorships. They also take in money through team-specific partnerships. The better the team does on the track, the easier it is to bring in cash. In 2021, the league instituted a budget cap of $135 million per team, which limits what a team can spend on R&D for their cars. Now, before that, the top teams could spend several times that. The limit has helped to level the playing field for teams like Williams as it looks to draw in additional revenue from new sponsors to get competitive. The team is currently looking to stage a major comeback in the league, and the principal for Team Williams tells me that this partnership is part of making that happen.
There's such a following behind this historic brand, behind this fantastic brand. And what you see behind that is exactly that. And what we're doing here is giving back to the public. So first and foremost, it's an opportunity to see the car, touch the car, be here. Franco was here, Alex was here, I'm here as well. And I love these events because it's one of the unique times where there's no barriers. You're just here, surrounded by real fans of the sport and real fans of Williams as well at the same time. Kraken is obviously one of our partners along the way that work with this, and they do very unique sort of fan activation events that form a part of it. There's no other team on the grid doing this at the moment. We're the only one. We do it in around about 10 to 14 of the races, and everyone is, I've learned something in every single one time I've done it.
Formula One is so much about innovation. The league is undergoing its biggest regulation change in 30 years, and teams are having to engineer new solutions to be compliant. We're talking everything from innovations in e-fuel to totally rebuilding the engine. The advanced engineering that goes into these cars on the track can ultimately end up driving innovation on the cars on our roads. And Williams sees an opportunity to partner with what it sees as innovation in the fintech space too. Okay, that's all for Crypto World today, but we'll be back again tomorrow, and we'll see you then.